Today is translation. Translations are fun because they're common in art and also in home design. So we're going to talk a bit about some different terminology we need to use, and then we'll try doing full translations ourselves. First word we need to know, transformation. Now transformation is a change made to the location or the size of a figure. If it's a change made to the location of a figure, then it is a translation. While if it's a change to the size of a figure, then it's a dilation. We'll worry about dilations later, but translation is what we're going to focus on today, and that's a change made to the location. Official definition being that a translation is a transformation in which each point of a figure moves the same distance in the same direction. So let's go ahead and try a couple problems out. But before we get going too far, I'm probably going to want to know one more word, and that's image. And an image is the new figure formed by a transformation. So we have the original figure, and then after we move each point of the figure at the same distance in the same direction, that new figure is our image. Okay. Coordinate notation. So to do some of these problems, we're going to need to be familiar with what is coordinate notation. And it looks like this. We're going to take a point, x comma y, and then I'm going to be changing it, right? Because we're either moving the figure or we're changing the size. Today we're just talking about moving the figure. So we'll be taking that original point and we're going to be moving it in the same direction by a certain value. For example, for this one, I'm going to be increasing all of the x points by some amount a. And I'm going to be increasing all the y points by some amount b. So that's our generic way of writing out coordinate notation. You're going to be looking for a point x comma y, draw your arrow over to show that you're changing to the point x plus a and y plus b. For example, if I had a problem that had x comma y, and they were going to change it to x plus 3 and y minus 7, then that's the coordinate notation for that translation. They want you to then figure out how would you draw that figure again. So we want to know how can we say that in words. In this case, x plus 3, well, we know that x is increasing by 3. I was on a coordinate grid, and I increased x by 3, so I went 3 more spots to the right. Then I'm moving 3 to the right. So I know if I wanted to say it in words, I could say we're going to go 3 units right. Then y minus 7, well, if I look at my y, and I just pick some spot and say I'm there, and I'm going to go minus 7, that means I'm going to be moving down 7 spots. So I'm going to be going 7 units down. So to say coordinate notation in actual words, we can say I'm going to take the point x comma y, or that figure, and I'm going to move it 3 units to the right and then 7 units down on my coordinate grid. Let's try a problem where we're actually going to start moving something around so we can see. I'm going to recommend some graph paper. A little coordinate grid will be helpful for this. You're welcome just to draw your coordinate grid in your note and not use graph paper at this time, but make sure if you have a homework problem that wants you to be graphing it, make sure you have graph paper, because that's required for your homework, but we already know that. Okay, we're going to draw a triangle. We're going to draw a triangle DEF. And there's the coordinates to the different points of that triangle. So we've got D equals -1, comma -6. Draw a dot, make sure you label it. And then we have E is -2, comma 4. And again, make sure you label that dot. And then F is 3, comma -2. So you can go 3, down 2. And again, label your dot. And then you can go ahead and connect it up into a triangle. Oops, that line was a little bit off there. That's okay, we can still kind of tell. There's my triangle. Hopefully yours is a bit neater because you have the ability to erase a bit easier than I do. Okay, so we've got DEF, triangle DEF. And I want to perform the following translation. I want to take x comma y, and let's go ahead and do x minus 2 comma y minus 1. Now I can look at that and I can think about x minus 2 comma y minus 1. How can I say that in words? Well, I know that my x points get removed 2 points, and since it's a negative, it's going to be to the left. Little confusing there for us, but you gotta think right being positive, left being negative. So 2 points to the left, and then y minus 1, a little bit easier. Minus, we're going to be going down, so y is going to be moving down 1 point. I'm going to go ahead and do that for this figure. So for point E, I've got negative 2 comma 4. So I want to go negative 2, that's my x value, and I've got x minus 2. So negative 2 minus 2, that's negative 4. And then my y value is 4. For image, we're looking for y minus 1. So 4 minus 1, which is 3. So I'm going to get 4 comma 3. Negative 4 comma 3. So negative 4, 1, 2, comma 3. Put my dot. And then I'm going to label it again because this is point E. But this is the image of point E. So we call it E prime. To designate that, we put E, and then we put a little apostrophe up in the air next to it. Lets us know that it's not the point E itself, because that's over here, but it's the image of that point. It's very similar to that point, same position on the figure, so it's E prime, or E with the apostrophe. And again, notice I went 2 to the left and down 1, just like we had mentioned in words we'd be doing. Let's go ahead and do point F. F is 3 comma negative 2, so 3 minus 2 is 1. And negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3, so I'm going to get 1 comma negative 3. Go ahead and label that F prime. And then D is negative 1 comma negative 6, so we're going to get negative 3 comma negative 7, which is right there. And again, label it D prime. Draw in our figure. And you should find that it's the same shape. We haven't changed the size, we haven't changed the location, same exact shape, but it's moved 2 points to the left and 1 point down. So now we have a translation. Now we're going to get into some fun stuff in class, because we'll start talking about how translations are how we form tessellations, which I'm guessing you've heard about before. But you'll have to wait till we get to class to talk about that. So, have a good night.